There's somebody on the phone who is trying to get in. He is not understanding how to do it, and he wants to know if he can have a 15 minutes next week. His daughter's trying to help him. He's trying to call on. Chris and I have both helped him. Now he's on the phone with Karen.
Today is first occurrence.
It is Steve Salter, I do believe. I think he's here for pre-trial. He was here before on Zoom.
Yeah, that's a pre-trial.
I spoke to him on Monday, and he said he didn't know how to do Zoom. He had previously been here on Zoom, so I'm not sure what the problem is. But
I don't know what the problem is either, so it's really hard for me to reset it because I would have to pull up the case.
Carmen is the-
So get his phone number, tell Carmen that we'll call him in just a few minutes. All right, court's on the record, Commerce City Municipal Court for February 17th of 2022. For the people that are on Zoom, please go ahead and mute your devices. I will ask you to unmute your device when I'm ready to call your case. For the people that are here in court, when I call your name, I'll direct you to come forward to one of the 3 stations. While you're at the station, I need you to speak loudly and clearly. One of my responsibilities today is to make sure that everything that you say gets properly recorded. After you're done at the station, I'll direct you to see my clerks in the lobby. Their windows are located to the left once you've exited through the double doors at the rear of the courtroom. When you leave the courtroom, go out through those double doors, make a left before you get to the metal detector, and that'll get you to my clerk's windows. We're going to start with Jordan Davis. If you would come to station number 1, please. Good afternoon. All right. I have 2 charges against you. The allegations are that on or about January 24th of 2022, at about 10:20 at night, in the area of 9922 Reunion Parkway, that you violated the city ordinance regarding public display or consumption of marijuana by an underage person and prohibited use of a weapon while intoxicated. Do you understand what it is you're accused of doing? Okay, you can go ahead and leave the mask on. All right, the city attorney said he reviewed the elements of the charge with you. In other words, he explained what he would have to prove for you to be found guilty of these offenses. Did he go over those things with you? No, the elements of the charge. In other words, what he would have to prove, like your age, possessing marijuana, he would have gone and explained all of that. Did he do that? Okay, good. Did you watch the advisement of rights video?
I did.
Okay, city attorney says that he wants this matter set over for a pretrial conference. One of the things he's looking for is for you to come back with the owner of the weapon. Is this what you want to do, is set this matter over for a new court date?
Correct.
Okay, if you'll go to the windows in the lobby and see my clerks, they're going to give you the notice of that new court date. Oh, before you go, are you currently a member of or a veteran of the United States Armed Forces?
No, I'm not.
All right, so go to the windows, see my clerk, they'll give you the notice of the new court date, okay? Ms. Barnes, I don't know if you're aware, but we're all watching you touch up your makeup.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm going to avoid editorial comment. I just thought you should know. Give me just a moment. Brianna Cano, if you would come to station number 2, please. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Okay, city attorney is satisfied that Brianna completed all of the conditions of the diversion in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the order of dismissal today. Because of your age, there's a certain statutory time period that has to pass, then I'm going to expunge it from your record. Brianna, thank you for following the order that I entered, but you need to keep in mind, this is the only time you're going to get a break like this. I don't ever want to see you back in court for this kind of behavior in the future. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Is there anything else I need to address on Brianna's behalf?
Thank you so much for everything.
Okay, so go to the windows, see my clerk. They'll give you a copy of the order of dismissal. Once you have that, you are free to leave.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Angelica Hernandez, if you would come to station number 3, please. Good afternoon. All right, the city attorney is satisfied that you successfully completed the conditions of the diversion. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the order of dismissal. The case against you is dismissed. You still can't ever go back into the Walmart store. Do you understand that? All right, if you want to have the record of this case sealed, it is eligible for sealing. When you go to the windows, you can ask my clerk and they can give you information on how to file a petition to seal your record. I'll make a note on your file that it is eligible to be sealed. There's a petition and a $65 filing fee if you want to do that. If you don't want to do that, that's up to you. But the case is being dismissed today. Do you have any questions? As far as I'm concerned, never. Yeah, for the one here in Commerce City, you can never go back in. Now, Walmart, normally when people get charged like this, ban you from all Walmarts and Sam's Club everywhere in the nation. But the only one I have jurisdiction over is the one that's here in Commerce City. I'm ordering you not to ever go back into that one again for any reason, okay? All right, go to the window, see my clerk. Okay, Brian Blakely, if you would unmute your device, please.
Yes.
Good afternoon. All right, the city attorney is satisfied that you successfully completed all of the conditions of the diversion in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the order of dismissal. My clerks will reach out to you by email either later today or tomorrow. They'll send you a copy of the order of dismissal. Your case is eligible to be sealed, and I'll make a note that if I receive the petition, I'll go ahead and sign the order sealing the record. When you get that email from my clerks, if you ask them for information, they can give you information on how to file a petition to seal the record. There is a $65 filing fee. And again, I'll make a note that says that if I receive that petition, I'll grant the order sealing the record. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, you can leave the meeting. Have a good afternoon. Stephanie Barnes, if you would unmute your device, please.
Hello.
Hello. You're not driving, are you?
No, my son is. I've
Okay,
got
is it-
court at 1:30 and then court with you. So we're headed to the courthouse and yeah.
Which courthouse are you heading to?
Grand Junction, Colorado Mesa County Courthouse.
Okay, that's fine. All right. First, I have a document that indicates that it's alleged that on January 12th of 2022 at 12:55 in the afternoon, or in the morning, I'm sorry. Yeah, 12:55 in the morning, in the area of 5990 Dahlia Street. That's the Walmart store that's located here in Commerce City. It's alleged that you committed the offenses of false reporting to authorities and theft. Do you understand what it is you're accused of doing?
Yes.
All right, the city attorney said that he reviewed the elements of both of those charges with you. In other words, he explained what he would have to prove in order for you to be found guilty of these charges if the case went to trial. Did he go over those elements with you?
Yes.
He says that you and he have agreed to set this matter over for a new court date and that you want to have an attorney appointed to represent you
Yes.
on this case. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, did you watch the advisement of rights video?
Yes.
Are you currently a member of or a veteran of the United States Armed Forces?
No.
All right, if you would raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony and evidence you provide to the court regarding your application for a court-appointed attorney will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. The address I have for you is on Normandy Way in Grand Junction. Is that
Yes.
address correct for you?
Yes.
So you and Miss McCool are living in the same place?
Well, yes, but I actually, my address should be changing. I got a voucher I picked up yesterday, and so I'm gonna be moving. And I haven't been sleeping there just because, yeah, it's better that we're not staying at the same home.
Okay, but this is your current mailing address as of today?
Yes. Yes.
When you move, you need to contact the Commerce City Municipal Court and notify us of a new address when you have it, okay?
Okay.
Okay, the phone number that I have for you, the last four digits end in 5150. Is that still the correct contact number for you?
No, I got a different cell phone number.
Let me have your phone number.
720-831
Uh-huh.
7062.
Okay. Do you currently own any real estate or have any ownership interest in any real estate of any type?
No,
Okay. Are you single, married, separated, or divorced?
I'm separated.
Do you have any minor children, that is children less than 18 years of age that you're responsible for?
Yes.
How many?
2.
Okay, and just give me their ages.
17 and 15.
And do they live with you?
Yes,
And is there any type of order for child support in place for them?
we're just beginning that, so it should soon.
Are you currently employed in any way?
No,
When was the last time you were employed?
I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years.
Okay, so you haven't had outside employment for 20 years? Okay.
No,
Do you own any cars?
no. Oh, yes, no, yes, I'm so sorry. I own it. It's in my name, but it's my daughter's. It's a 2008 Audi, A4.
Is there any money owed on the Audi?
No,
Okay, do you have any ownership interest in any financial transaction devices such as savings bonds, treasury bonds, or retirement plans?
no,
Are you currently receiving any type of other income? Social Security, disability, AFDC, food stamps, WIC?
we're on food stamps, and then I've got my unemployment, but it's not coming through. We're trying to verify identity for it still. It stopped a few months ago.
Well, if you haven't been employed for 20 years, why would you be receiving unemployment?
They put me on that pandemic. It was like a pandemic through, because I had like I don't know, maybe a week or so after my husband and I split, where I started to do an in-home health thing, but then the pandemic hit a week later, and so they put me on that, and that wasn't even, it was like a week out of,
Do you know how much you're getting?
well, at that time, they were paying $15 an hour.
I know, but how much are you getting in unemployment benefits?
Oh, like nothing, like $200.
$200 a month?
Mm-hmm.
But that's already stopped now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Are you receiving any other type of public assistance?
No.
No SSI for your children or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
My oldest son is 20, and he's been the one that's kind of been like the provider right now, just trying to keep things going for us.
So he's the one helping you out financially?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I'm going to find that you qualify for a court-appointed attorney. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you in this case. We'll schedule this case for a pretrial conference. We'll send a notice of the new court date to the email address that you used to sign up for this hearing. We'll provide that attorney with your new telephone number. Hopefully, you'll be able to communicate before the next court hearing and see if you can arrive at a resolution of this case at that time. Do you have
Okay.
any questions?
No.
Okay. You can go ahead and sign off and go ahead and get into your other court.
Thank you.
This one lady that's here in person, the last one that was up here, she has a warrant fee and a OGW fee. $80. Do you want her to?
You still here?
Yes.
Yeah, they need to pay that.
Yeah.
I saw the red banner, but I thought it was just because she was a juvenile. I didn't read
I
it.
did too, and I would like to see.
Yeah, I didn't read it. So we don't have anybody else waiting for us on Zoom?
We have Starkovich, he just registered. It's supposed to be for the review for Pacheco. I haven't gotten anything from Pacheco.
Okay,
And then, yeah, Steve Salter, the one that Chris was talking to you about earlier, he's having a hard time interneting.
Steve Saltar.
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull up. All right, let me pull up that guy. He's already had 2 prior pre-trials.
And he has appeared virtually. When I spoke to him yesterday, he said, I don't know how to do this whole email thing. And so I gave him the phone number that he could dial into and provided the meeting ID. All you need to do is call the phone number and put in the meeting ID, and you should be able to join the meeting on a telephone call. However, he seems to be having a hard time with that. He says that his wife has helped him out previously, but I would assume that his wife isn't there.
Robert, the report number 4 means that you can call him now and no class or UPS is completed. He has an explanation.
Then he needs to call in.
He called and talked to her. And she emailed,
Right. Send him, Chris, can you just send him an email telling him, call this number, type in this number, and then you'll be in the Zoom meeting. Have him call.
So I
that.
provided him the exact number yesterday and the numbers that he needed to enter, and he says he's still having a hard time with that.
Yeah.
Per conversation with Carmen, anyway.
his phone number and said, you can call him now and no class or UPS completed. He has an explanation. Thanks for your
Yeah,
help.
he needs to call into us. It's just like dialing a phone. There's no excuse for him not being able to do it. Tell Carmen to tell him to call us. And then plug in that number, the code, meeting code.
I just want to make sure we know how to use the projector. Of course. Get the right first. That, I did that on for a couple of hours. It just means we have a lot of people that didn't show up.
We had a lot of people, a lot.
The last guy on your pretrial docket, Mr. Saltar, is claiming problems phoning in. It's like making a phone call. So,
Like, all of us have had so many problems with him today, or this whole week.
right. The bottom line is he's already had 3 pretrials. So presumably he told Carmen he hasn't done the community service or the class, but he has an explanation. He gave an explanation that he was injured the last time, which is why we set it over for this time.
He wanted me to text him the link, because he can do it on his phone, and I said, then go on your phone, so what's the, you can't text you. The link, that was on Monday. He keeps calling in,
With another excuse.
yeah, and none of us were all like trying to tell him.
Tuesday in Brighton, we're supposed to have 3 court-appointed people and only 1 showed up half an hour late.
Mhm.
I had to laugh because Michelle Klein, I went back to tell her, and she almost looked surprised that 2 out of 3 didn't show up. I'm like, how long have you been doing this? Like, did you hit your head on the way in? I'm always amazed when they do show up. Is Mr. Granados is coming back at 2 or something?
Mm-hmm. It's gonna take 5 minutes. Hi, Mr. Starkovich. Which one are you here on?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm here on Timothy Pacheco.
I don't think he's checked in yet.
I don't think so either, and I've been trying to reach out to him, so it's probably not a good sign.
Well, he has another few minutes.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute and turn my video off and keep trying to read
That's
him.
fine. Go ahead. I'm in front of Lena Goldberg on Monday for my trial, or Tuesday for my trial. And you know, she was such a kid and got it on her first try, on her first try. When I was helping her get ready for her interview with the governor, I explained to her that you're very young. It's your first time, but you know, if you don't get it, don't be discouraged because you are well qualified. It's probably just going to take a couple more years for you to get it. And then she got it. And I'm like, clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about. And Teresa Vasquez, Terry Vasquez, she should have gotten it 8 years ago. And so she applied 3 more times before she finally, or 4 more times before she finally got it. She had like 16 years as a civil litigator. Reina Gokley had just become a county or district court deputy DA 2 years before she got it. She's been, right. And she's young. I didn't discourage her because in terms of common sense and her background, she has a lot of plus side going for her. But I just didn't think she had enough experience. She couldn't have been more than 40 when she got it, if that. So now I get to do a jury trial with her.
That's, okay. Your trial next week is going in Adams and it starts on Tuesday.
Correct.
Meanwhile, whatever's happening on February 28th, you'll know
On Tuesday morning.
on Tuesday morning because the judge is on vacation this week.
Right. They sent me a notice on Friday while I'm down in New Mexico that the hearing for this morning was vacated and reset to the 22nd at 8:30, and that no one in the division was going to be there this whole week. So I sent them an email as soon as I had service, because I don't have service at my house, I had to go down the hill and sent them an email saying, I'm ready for a phone conference. Can we do it this afternoon at 4:00? I'll stay down where I get service and we can do a phone conference. And she said, no, the judge is already gone. So I'm like, oh, no, the judge is gone until the 22nd. My hearing is vacated. How am I supposed to plan? You know what I'm saying? It frosted me a little bit.
Great.
My client is in the Douglas County Jail.
Plus, when they set this hearing of yours,
Mhm.
the judge obviously didn't have vacation scheduled.
Right. Something happened. I can tell you Judge Amico did the same thing done. Their protocols lifted starting next week. So the 22nd. So so I guess because it was a 3-day weekend this week, they just she took the whole week off. So she
Who's the judge?
basically gets 8 days off.
I just remember being in the county courtroom in Adams County when I was county court deputy, and one of the judges, like the whole calendar was on the wall with all these red marks.
Right.
Like a lot of red marks for his, vacation, which is fair enough. but
Cindy
still,
Bruner,
Like 6 weeks, I mean,
they get 6 weeks of paid
I always ask
vacation.
Teresa, like, so how much vacation, like, are you ever not on vacation?
6 weeks of paid vacation a year. I remember when Cindy Bruner and PJ Doyle would take those trips to France,
Yeah.
to the houseboat on the Seine or wherever, and she would literally be gone for almost 4 weeks. And so I would have Division R and her arraignment docket.
Well, now you get to sentence people to prison too, probably.
As a county court judge?
Well, they do. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you're taking over from R. Can magistrates send you to prison if you're taking the county court judges?
I don't think so. This was really funny. I was covering her docket and some case came back up for sentencing. And the guy, it was like a 4th DUI, high BAC, but those lawyers didn't want him to go to jail, wanted him to go in-home detention. So I gave him a year of in-home detention. And he says, well, you're just a magistrate. And I said, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Right. So
Judge Rinaldi will take this.
Cox came down and said, okay,
Partner.
literally, I got off the bench. He walked in. He said, let me read the PSI. He goes, I hate to have you do it, but please repeat all these arguments again. And he goes, yeah, I can understand your concern. I'm going to give you 365 days in the Adams County Jail. I'm going to suspend, and I think he suspended something like 90 of them, the rest to be served on in-home detention. So the guy got like 270 days of in-home detention after 90 days in jail. And I'm like, okay, buddy, that's what
I
you
would
do.
have winked at the lawyer when he got back on the bench. I would have given him like,
So well,
tombstone, the little like.
I took the opportunity while Cox was in there to go to R and do a couple of my cases, then came back, and the guy's sitting in the jury box.
Lawyer's like, I'd like the magistrate to reconsider the sentence.
No, it was McCullough, the tall, skinny, blonde-haired guy. I think if you saw him, you'd recognize him. He didn't like that I maxed the guy out, but with in-home. So he thought Cox would, or somebody else, or even Bruner would give him less. But the guy had like 4.
Look, I still say to this day, for you to go to jail, you pretty much have to put a gun to our heads.
Right.
Like, I mean,
Well, McCullough had a pretty compelling reason why he wanted the guy to have in-home, but he got Cox, and Cox said no. It would have been a jail straight time. I know that because he did that to one of my clients.
What the puppy count is caught. He chewed his bed.
Oh, that's not good.
Hello, Stinker. Now he's sleeping because he's tired
Mhm.
from chewing up his bed.
Probably. I got my dog Jack a dinosaur purple toy for Christmas, and it has a squeaky. Normally, if something has a squeaky, we're talking duration of minutes for the toy. Right? He still has it on his dog bed and sleeps with it. He hasn't chewed it up at all.
Really?
And my wife seems to think that it's because we weren't letting him chew up Lizzie's toys. And so he just got into the habit of not, because we would, he would tear up toys on a regular basis, but
Yeah.
once Lizzie got there and she got her own toys, the point was he couldn't tear up her toys at
Oh,
all.
my God.
So we're thinking that, he's now out of the habit of tearing up toys, which is a good thing because, again, a lot of times for Christmas, we give him a toy, and by the time the next presents are unwrapped, that toy is
That's-
everywhere.
Samson, he'll take him outside or he'll what, and it's just fuzz everywhere.
Right.
And it's just. Yeah, he probably had this, he had this notebook, I did it a while ago. So I just looked at it and. Yeah. So that's what he did today. I know, it's like, when is he gonna? Go out of that chewing.
That's why PJ and I don't get puppies, because they all go through that chewing phase.
Chewing phase. Oh, goodness. Chew Christopher. Christopher. Yes. Good. So what do you want to do about shelter? I'm gonna, I don't know. Did you tried to get him the code, right? And he's not. Yeah. So, Judge, I just got another email from him saying here is his phone number. He wants to talk to the judge. You
Phone
can call him now. and
Phone
he'll
number.
pass you the chance to see it.
Oh,
Want me to dial it?
yeah, 'cause I don't have that either.
We're calling him. Okay, thank you, guys.
Hello, Stu.
Hello, Mr. Salter. This is David Juarez. I'm the judge in Commerce City. We're on the record in open court on your case, which is EM, let's see, 7646. You're supposed to either appear in person or by Zoom. And it's really not that complicated. My staff has given you the phone number to call in. And once you call that number, there's a code that you enter, and then that puts you into our meeting. What's the problem?
We tried to do that this morning, or not this morning, but we tried to do that at 12:45.
Yeah, this
And
isn't,
I was put on hold. And she came back on. A recording came on. It said we are not in session yet. That's when I called the court to see if there was a snow delay. I talked to her for 15 to 20 minutes.
yeah, this is really easy. It isn't a try, it's a do. When I hang up this call the number that you were given, entered the code. The session is running right now. That'll get you into the session.
Okay.
Okay? Is there anything unclear about my order?
Judge,
Okay, wait a minute.
can we
hold
make
on.
sure that he has the right meeting ID?
Hey, read back the meeting ID that you have. Do you have that handy, Mr. Salter?
Yeah. Let me put my glasses on. 956-365-972-74.
Chris, were you able to hear that?
956-365-97274. Yep.
Okay, that sounds like it's the right code.
And he's calling 720-928-9299.
What phone number are you calling, Mr. Salter?
720-928-9299.
Correct.
That sounds correct, Chris?
Mhm.
All right, go ahead and hang up this call and call back in, calling that number and plugging in that code. All right, Mr. Salter?
I will do that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Starkovich, how much longer do you feel compelled to wait?
Judge, both phone numbers that Mr. Pacheco gave me, neither one of them have been working for about the last week. So I don't see any chance of me getting a hold of him by phone. I know he knew of today's court date. He's never been late, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, he's not here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll let you go. I'll issue a warrant for his arrest. My clerks will let you know what bond I set. I don't have his file open, so it'll take me a minute to figure out what his
Would
bond
the
is.
court consider staying execution of it for one day? Because he's been in very good contact with me for the last 5 to 6 months. He usually calls me a day or two before, a week before.
And see, the problem that we have is that we don't have court tomorrow, and we're not going to have court next Wednesday either. So, you know, I don't think I can stay the warrant for 8 days. So I'll go ahead and issue the warrant. If he calls the court, I'll make note that he called the court and see if I can vacate the warrant without, you know, well, as soon as we can.
Okay,
But it's going to be next Thursday at the earliest.
okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You can go ahead and leave.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just called in using that number and meeting ID, and I did not have a problem. I was noted as a participant trying to join.
Okay.
So Judge, would you like Adam to speak to Mr. Saltar first?
Yes. So taking Mr. Salter got in.
He did get in. He's talking to Adam right now.
Thank you. Did that come right out of your printer?
Yes.
Do you still have Mr. Behan on this file, or does Adam have that back? Ms. Baker, do you have a report?
I was able to, Dr. Logan, the inspector of goodness, and I was good to have my appointment, but he did go out and do the inspection.
Okay, that's fine. I just need to see what the current status is. Are you cleaning the stations? I know, on top of everything else, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's on the phone and it'd be really helpful just to move him back into this.
You think we have rule 211 on this case earlier, Mr. Bahan?
Well, I just gave you a statement saying they're actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, here it is. All right, that's good. All right, court's back on the record regarding Luis Bejarano Granados. Case number is CM 002822556. If you would come forward to station number 1, please. All right, the set of photographs that I have show that the couches are gone, the items that were stacked in front of the house have been removed, but there's still non-compliance with the city code related to the number of remaining items that are shown in the number of these photographs. Is there anything you want me to take into consideration before I impose the sentence against you? Okay.
You get in the middle of the process to clean, we got a problem with it. Take care of the rest.
Well, I see a number of forklifts on the property.
Yeah, but I think we're coming, but I believe the other one, I think you can.
Yeah, but you need to understand, just because somebody let you get away with it before, doesn't mean that it's still not a violation of the code. And I've ordered you repeatedly, starting in 2015, to bring your properties into compliance with the current city code. Each time you eventually have mostly complied, but then other charges develop because you continue to backside and let the property go into violation again. You're here on sentencing on 3 charges that you pled guilty to on November 10th of 2021. It's now February 17th of 2022, and your property is still not in compliance. So on the charge of inoperable vehicles, which is a violation of section 6-205, subparagraph A, I will find that the cars look like they're all gone. I'm not so sure that the trailer that the boat is on or the forklifts do not continue to keep you outside of complying with the code. So I'm going to impose a fine on that charge in the amount of $200. On the charges of outdoor storage were prohibited and accumulation of garbage and trash were prohibited, I'm going to impose fines of $500. I am going to sign an order authorizing the city to abate your property. So the city attorney and neighborhood services will go to the city manager. The city manager will authorize the expense necessary to bring the remainder of your property into full compliance. Then those fees are going to be assessed against you in addition to the fines that I'm imposing. I don't know how fast this process is going to take because with COVID, people aren't here full time like they normally are. So that might take a couple of days. It could take a couple of weeks. They'll notify you before they come onto the property to remove the remaining items. If you want to minimize that impact, then talk to the code enforcement people, find out what they would plan to remove and remove it yourself. It's really that simple. Okay? All right, if you go to the windows in the lobby and see my clerks, they'll tell you what the total is of the fines and court costs and make payment arrangements for that. And then you'll see with the city prosecutor about getting the abatement order to me. All right. Mhm. All right, Mr. Salter, if you could unmute your device. This is case number EM 7646. Chris, are you able to unmute his device?
I'm able to ping him to ask him to unmute his device. I just pinged him. But that's the best that I can do.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Chris.
I'm able to ping him and ask him to unmute his device. I have done so, but that's the best that I can do.
Okay, so he actually has to unmute it.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Salter, I need you to unmute your device.
Here, I'll place him in the waiting room and then readmit.
Mr. Salter, can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Salter. All right,
Yes, sir.
we're on the record in case number EM 7646. I'll note that you've joined us by telephone under our Zoom meeting. I have a document that indicates that you're pleading guilty to the added reduced charge of engaging in disturbing the peace, a violation of City Ordinance Section 12-5004. In exchange for pleading guilty to this charge, the city attorney will dismiss the assault charge from October 3rd of 2021 at about 4:30 in the afternoon from the area of 7007 East 88th Avenue here in Commerce City. Is this what you wish to do today, is plead guilty to this added charge?
Yes, sir, there it is.
Okay, did you at either today or at some prior time watch the advisement of rights video?
Yes, I have.
You understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this charge, you are waiving all of the trial and appeal related rights that you were advised of in that video.
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or coerced you to get you to plead guilty to this charge against your will?
Absolutely not.
Has anyone made any promise to you to get you to enter this guilty plea?
No, sir.
Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medications that affect your ability to understand what you're doing in court today?
No, sir.
Then to the added reduced charge of disturbing the peace on October 3rd of 2021 here in Commerce City, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, sir.
I'll accept your guilty plea. Let me ask, I'm sure I may have asked earlier, but I want to make sure it's on this paperwork. Are you currently a member of or a veteran of the United States Armed Forces?
I am not.
Okay. Give me a minute while I read the report.
Sure.
All right, Mr. Salter, is there anything you want me to take into consideration before I impose the sentence against you? Mr. Salter?
Well, yes, I was just thinking. I got my version of what happened. He's got his version of what happened. And my version is the absolute truth. And his is fabricated nothing but a lie.
You realize, of course, there's independent witness statements as well, right?
Oh, yeah, all his garage sale buddies. And the thing is,
So they're all.
I knew every officer there that day. I've worked with them out there.
Okay,
They
did you
knew
get-
me.
Did you get fired as a result of this?
I did.
Okay, anything
I
else?
was sent to another post.
Another post at the High Flea Market or another post for the company?
No, another post off the flea market grounds.
Okay,
I didn't get fired. I just got reassigned.
all right. It looks like you had the chance to get this case dismissed starting in October by doing community service in a class.
Correct.
And I show you never did either one of those.
I have attempted to do both of those.
Attempted
Like
and
you ordered.
two different things. It's like I said earlier, this isn't a question of try, this is a question of do. Did you do the community service?
I did not. I ran into a brick wall on all of that.
Did you do a class?
I did not,
Okay.
because they give me the wrong date.
Yeah, this isn't a question of try, it's a question of do. Why didn't you do the community service? Community service is free.
It is. I tried to get that completed. I went to Goodwill, I went to ARC, and both places. Well, have you registered? Have you done the class? Have you done the background check? It's like, come on. This is 16 hours of free labor. I got to go through jumping through hoops. I tried my community churches. I called before I went. Never got a call back from anybody. And as far as the class goes, they gave me the wrong date. Like I told you, they give me February the 6th. And when in all actuality, they did the class on February the 5th. I tried to call February the 3rd to confirm. Well, we'll email you. I looked for an email, the 3rd, the 4th.
And did you ever get
Not
an
for
email
my,
from them?
it's not my lack of not trying to get this done. I wanted this done.
Did you ever get a confirming email from them?
No, not until Saturday. And which by then was too late.
So they sent it to you after they'd given the class?
Correct. I tried to do the class on the date that they give me, and I couldn't even register to get on to join because they had the class on the 5th. So I was very upset. I called them back on the 7th, and I told them that I was unhappy with them. They just got a $75 off of me for screwing me over.
Can you forward those emails to my court?
I can.
Chris, what's the best email for him to forward them to so that I get to see them?
It would be court3@c3gov.com. If you're ready to write it down, I can.
Just one sec. I'll use the
Definitely.
phone to my daughter because she's got a lot better handwriting than I do.
Hello,
Yes. go
Hi,
ahead.
are you able to write down this email address?
I am.
Perfect. The email will be court, COURT, and then the number 3
Okay.
At C as in Charlie, the number 3, G as in Gary, O as in Olive, V as in Victor.com. So that's court3@c3gov.com.
Okay.
And
If you could
forward me all of the emails related to him signing up for the Making Better Choices class and all of their responses. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I know that I haven't been a part of his court hearings or anything, but I know that the flea market had video of the other person finding my dad and seeking my dad out, and there's video showing that this guy fabricated his story.
That's not what the
And the
video
flea
shows.
market,
That's not what the video shows. So you
that's
can't
not
say,
what the flea market said.
that's not what the video shows. The video does not show anybody fabricating anything. The video simply reflects the interaction between Mr. Salter and the other person, in this case, Mr. Vetz. It doesn't show who fabricated anything. It's not a made-up video.
Okay.
And it's
Okay,
also
well-
not very clear because it doesn't capture the sound. What it does show is Mr. Salter getting out of the little, I don't know what it is, golf cart or whatever
The
it is.
buggy.
Right.
Yeah.
He should never have done that, but he did.
Okay.
And then there is the pushing back and forth. I can't tell you who said what or who said
Right.
anything. What I can tell you is it's clear Mr. Salter got out of the buggy. He should not have done that.
I
Anything else you-
understand.
anything else you
I'm
wanna
not
tell
going
me?
to get in. No, I understand that. But if he was doing his job, and that's not what I will speak for him and tell you guys, that's not what the flea market told him. Not the flea market, but who he was working for told him that they had video pretty much dissolving whatever the guy said. So please know that we were under false pretenses from the company, not from anyone else. We were told that they had video vindicating him from this incident, that this guy made these stories up. So that's why I brought it up. So I didn't know that you guys had already had this video because they told my dad that they didn't give you guys the video. So I apologize for that.
Right. The police wrote down what they saw in the video. The video did not have any evidentiary value because there's no way there was no recording of sound from the video. So it only
Okay.
shows that Mr. Vetz approached Mr. Salter, and then clearly they appeared angry, and then Mr. Salter came off the Jeep and pushed him, and then Mr. Vetz pushed back, then Mr. Salter pushed him back again, and then Mr. Vetz or some other person comes up and tries to intervene, and then they keep going back and forth, but it's not clear enough because there's no audio to say
Okay.
who said what. And really, the video just confirms the versions of the events that the people making the statement made. Let me see if I can catch that name real quick. Mr. Rosales is an independent witness. And what he said is backed up by what's shown on the video. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else
Thank
either one
you.
of you wants to tell me?
No, that was it. I was just wondering.
Okay, put Mr. Salter back on.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
All right, Mr. Salter, here's what I'm going to do on your
Yep.
case. I'm going to impose the minimum fine, which is $25 plus surcharges plus court costs. I'm going to suspend
Okay.
all of a 15-day jail sentence. The entire jail sentence is suspended on the conditions as follows. First, you need to pay the fines and costs. 2,
Okay.
I'm going to order that you do 24 hours of useful public service at any nonprofit agency of your choice. Originally, you were ordered to do 16, but I'm going to waive the class based on the problems that resulted from you trying to schedule the class. I'm simply going to replace it with 8 hours of community service. So you're going to owe 24 hours of community service. I'm ordering you to never
Okay.
have contact with Christopher Vetz again, and you're to commit no new law violations other than routine traffic violations in Commerce City for a period of 1 year.
Okay, I
Okay.
understand that.
All right, so when you leave the meeting, my clerks are going to reach out to you by email later today or tomorrow. They'll tell you the total of the fines and costs. They'll tell you how to pay electronically, or if you need a payment plan, they'll work that out for you. They're going to give you another community service form showing that 24 hours of use of public service is due by a date certain. You need to keep working on finding a place that you want to volunteer at. Make sure that it's something that's convenient to you. Make sure it's a legitimate nonprofit agency. It does not need to be in Commerce City. It can be anywhere. But again,
Right.
churches, schools, food banks, Meals on Wheels, Salvation Army aren't, you're not charged with theft. And those are normally the people they don't allow to do community service there. Everybody else they put
Right.
them to do. Goodwill, anybody. Get the community service done, get it done by the deadline, turn that in, and then the rest is easy. I'm assuming you don't have any reason to contact Mr. Vetz, and I'm assuming you can stay out of trouble for him.
No. I wasn't looking to get into trouble that day.
Okay, well, that's good. So let's go ahead and get this taken care of. When you leave the meeting, my clerks will get all that information to you. Do you have any questions?
Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I just heard a beep. I didn't know if you hung up on me. My daughter did mention, that this whole thing was a made up story. And my boss at the time, Marvin Johnson with American Eagle Securities, he did go back and go through the surveillance tapes of that day. And it did show me backing up, him advancing, me backing up, advancing. I warned him 6 times before I shoved him back. And I told him if he advanced again, I was going to tase him. And my boss did look at the tape and he said, I absolutely did my job. I did nothing wrong.
I can tell you that your boss may have exaggerated what you considered to be the truth about the circumstances, because the police officer indicates that it's really clear that as the confrontation began, you came out of the buggy, whatever it is, the golf cart. In other words, you approached him initially, and then you and he got into this pushing match before Mr. Rosales came up and tried to get you guys to break it up.
He did not.
Yeah, he did not. What?
He did not approach us at all. He stayed there in his spot, running his mouth.
Well,
Just like Christopher did. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. I've already entered my ruling. If you don't have any questions, please comply. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You can go ahead and leave the meeting.
Thank you.
If he's out, could you just sign that for the abatement, please, sir, and then get the other messages?
Well, Judge, that is all of the Zoom registrants for the afternoon. Do you want me to leave this on for the trial that we're having, or?
Oh, we still have the 3 o'clock docket.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So don't close it out because this is the same Zoom meeting as the 3 o'clock docket.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if anyone registers.
Yep, we will. All right, thanks.
Mhm.
Mr. Golland, this is a 1-point violation? Okay, it's not marked on here. I'm going to go ahead and by interlineation mark it. All right, court's on the record regarding Jose de la Cruz Romo. This is case number CM 00303-490. Mr. Romo, de la Cruz Romo, if you'd come to station number 1, please. Oh, actually, no, I think I need you at station number 2. We already used station number 1. Good afternoon. All right, this matter is scheduled for a trial today. The city attorney has provided me a proposed disposition. He previously added a charge of careless driving on December 8th of 2021. But he indicates that if you plead guilty to the original charge of failure to display lamps when required, which on the ticket says that it's a 2-point violation. All right, we'll send it in as a 0-point violation. Go ahead and leave your mask up. Thank you. If you plead guilty to that charge, he will dismiss the careless driving charge. This event having occurred on October 28th of 2021 at 6:35 in the afternoon in the area of 81st and Rosemary here in Commerce City. Mr. de la Cruz Romo, is this how you wish to resolve your case today by pleading guilty to the charge of failure to display lights?
So am I understanding that it's going to go in at 0, right?
Correct.
Just as long as it doesn't mess with my CDL.
Well, zero pointers have no impact on your CDL. What may have an impact on your CDL is that there was an accident as a result of this. I have no control over that. That's between you and DMV and, okay.
Yeah, as long as the 0-point violation.
All right. Did you watch either the first time you were here or any of the other times, the advisement of rights video?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this charge, you are waiving all of the trial and appeal related rights that you were advised of in that video? Has anyone forced you or coerced you to get you to plead guilty to this charge against your will? Has anyone made any promise to you to get you to enter this guilty plea? Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medications that affect your ability to understand what you're doing in court today? Then to the charge of failure to display lamps when required, a 0-point violation on October 28th of 2021 here in Commerce City. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty? I'll accept your guilty plea. I'll find it's knowing, intelligently, and voluntarily made with a full understanding of the rights being waived as well as the possible consequences. Give me just a moment. Mr. Golland, do you know why in the accident report he's listed as vehicle number 2 and not vehicle number 1?
Okay. He's on that paper on the street. If another car crashes into his back, the police officer thought that the appropriate charge for this defendant was not having the lights on the back, and the other guy got a careless driving ticket. That's why the police at the time viewed the driver of the car as the most responsible party for the accident.
Okay, it's October at 6:30, so that's,
Well, it was dark out.
it's dark. I'm trying to think of when daylight savings time took place.
PM, we checked the car was all.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it's only recently dark, but that's because daylight savings time did
Yeah,
not
and
kick in.
it was nice to have found her, even though she had a baby last time. And she said it was dark, it was very dark.
It was dark, okay.
Yeah, and that area of Rosemary, I think, is particularly not well lit.
That's just down the hill from Mirage Towing. It's
Yeah.
before you get to the,
Yeah, the independent witness is actually going to Mirage to pick up her.
yeah, I mean, there's a street light right on 81st and Rosemary.
The passenger in B1 was very badly injured.
Okay, give me just a moment while I read
She
this.
actually has representation here today.
Okay. All right, Mr. De La Cruz Romo, is there anything you want me to take into consideration before I impose the sentence against you?
Well, at the end of the day, I did show, after I was on scene how the paperwork. So that's another reason why I might be as not the one that was at fault. Or the you did see that how the paper operated and everything.
Did you have insurance on that date?
Yeah, it has insurance and everything.
Yeah, because I know that it said that it wasn't insured, but he's not charged with no proof of insurance. Okay. Let me read this, because the narrative make it sound like. And you had somebody walking behind you with a flashlight?
Yeah, the gentleman that worked at the auto body shop, he was waving cars down and they were following, so. It's either he was following too closely or the other car that did.
Right, the one that did change lanes, they may have been too close. Right, I get it. I can see how that could happen.
It did study the skid marks and everything, so it did come in pretty fast.
Yeah. But again, this isn't about them as much as it is about you. All right, let me look at. Oh, yeah, you're right. This says vehicle one. All right. No, there's nothing in aggravation on your driving record. I'm just going to impose the scheduled fine. It has to be an aggravated fine because of the collision itself. So I'm actually going to increase the fine beyond the schedule from $40 to $80, plus surcharges, plus court costs. The issue of restitution, I'm going to leave that to the state court. So when you go to the windows, Mr. De La Cruz Romo, you go out the double doors, go to the left, see my clerks, they'll tell you what the total is. If you need them to, they'll work out payment arrangements for you. Do you have any questions? You need to understand, I'm not issuing a restitution order in your case because quite frankly, it's a serious charge and it's going to exceed my jurisdictional limit, but they're free to pursue a claim against you. You're free to pursue a claim against them for the property damage to your vehicle. I'm going to let a state court judge make that resolution. Okay? Do you have any questions? Go to the windows, see my clerk. Any witnesses present on CM 303490 regarding Jose De La Cruz Romo are hereby released from their subpoenas and are free to leave. You can go ahead and go to the windows. There is a street light right there on the corner. With the left.
There is a good way to begin.
Yeah, me too. That's where the one lane ends. And you either, if you're in the left lane, you have to turn left. It's exactly where it is.
It was next to there on the way home last night.
Oh, was there?
I was like right by there, this car was coming and couldn't stop,
Mhm.
and then this car couldn't stop. And so I was like, right there, and I was like,
What time did you leave yesterday? This was around the same time I did, didn't you?
yeah, it was like 4 or
4 o'clock?
yeah.
There was a big backup when I got onto Rosemary. I crossed the tracks and then like within 50 feet, it became bumper to bumper. But I didn't see any accidents. When
I
I was
was stopped though right there too for a long time.
right. It was just really slow. I thought maybe there was a train And because when there's a train, it backs up the whole way. But once we got going, it was fairly steady. It probably took 3 light cycles before I got up to the 88th. And that's a long ways to go, but it's not like it was like dead stop and we're all waiting.
Yeah.
So I was thinking if there was a train, it was earlier.
Because it took a while.
But you know where Mirage Towing is? Right at the bottom of the hills where that lane disappears. There's a street light right on the corner. There's a street light right before you get to the liquor store on the right.
Yeah, liquor store right there.
Right. And the body shop is right next door to that liquor store. Oops, looks like they fixed the affidavit.
One person in break cover. And I have the numbers and everything for the 3-way call ready to go right there.
Okay. Oh, I thought they'd already gotten it back. So this person's here in person. Shelby Anderson, if you and your parent would come to station number 3, please. Good afternoon. Do you two have masks? All right, we need to get you masks. And are you Brad Anderson? And you're her father? All right, I have a document that indicates that if Shelby pleads guilty to the added reduced charge of driving a defective vehicle, that's a 2-point violation, and attend the Alive at 25 class, the city attorney will dismiss the original careless driving charge against you from January 23rd of 2022 at about 6:45 in the evening on I-270 here in Commerce City. Shelby, is this how you wish to resolve your case today, by pleading guilty to this reduced charge? And Mr. Anderson, do you understand the original charge filed against your daughter? Do you understand the reduced charge that the city attorney is offering your daughter in an effort to resolve this case? Do you agree that your daughter is acting in her best interest by accepting this resolution and pleading guilty to this reduced charge? Thank you. Shelby, did you watch the advisement of rights video? Do you understand that if I accept your guilty plea to this reduced charge, you are renouncing all of the trial and appeal related rights that you were advised of in that video? Has anyone forced you or coerced you to get you to plead guilty to this reduced charge against your will? Has anyone made any promise to you to get you to enter this guilty plea? Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medications that affect your ability to understand what you're doing in court today? Then to the added reduced charge of driving a defective vehicle, a 2-point violation on January 23rd of 2022 here in Commerce City, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty? I'll accept your guilty plea. I'll find it's knowing, intelligently, and voluntarily made with a full understanding of the rights being waived, as well as the possible consequences. All right, give me a second while I look at the report. All right. Anything you want me to take into consideration before I impose the sentence against you? How long have you been driving? How long have you been driving? Okay. First, I got to tell you, I-270 is like the single most dangerous roadway in the entire North Metro area. We have more collisions on I-270 than all of the other streets in the North Metro area combined. As a new driver, you should find other ways to get to where you're going. Never take I-270 again. Every single day, we get rear end collisions there because traffic backs up near Vasquez Boulevard. And sometimes it starts as far back as, Quebec, but it becomes stop and go. Traffic opens up and people speed up and then it comes to a dead stop again. That happens every single day. More experienced drivers get into rear end collision accidents on that roadway. The only way I can explain it is this way. The National Traffic Safety Board says that until you've engaged in daily driving for 3 years, you pose a much higher risk of getting into or causing an accident than a more experienced driver. At your stage of driving, when you get behind the wheel of a car, you only have one goal, and I'm sure your father will agree with me. That's to get to where you're going safely. That's it. Focus on your driving so you can get to where you're going safely. Some things will become automatic for you and you won't have to consciously think about them. But for right now, you have to consciously think about a lot of things. So you need to make sure you give yourself time to do that, leaving space between you and the cars in front of you. Never be in a hurry in your car. When you're in your car, focus on your driving, not on the radio, not on music, not on, your friends, food, drink, or anything else like that, or whether or not you're running late. If you're already running late to go someplace when you get in your car, accept the fact that you're going to arrive there late. Never try to make up for lost time with your car. That's exactly how these type of things happen. And that's how young people get tickets for speeding, because they're always in a hurry. I'm sure you've got school and extracurricular activities and a bunch of things that are demands on your time. And you feel like you're having to rush from place to place. Don't do that in the car, okay? All right, sir, is there anything you want me to know about your daughter that I should consider before I impose the sentence against her? Got distracted. That's understandable. Shelby, and I'm sorry, was there anything else you wanted me to consider? Okay, this looks like it's their first ticket of any type, correct? All right. Unfortunately, it's not a good one. All right, your scheduled fine in this case is $240. Don't worry, I'm gonna work with that. I'm gonna impose the $240 fine. I'm gonna suspend 200 of it. I have to give you some fine because of the multiple car nature of the collision. But I want you to use this as an educational opportunity, and I'm not here to punish you or your father for this. So 240 is the scheduled fine, 200 is suspended on the condition that you complete the Alive at 25 class that I'm ordering you to do. When you go to the windows in the lobby and see my clerks, they're going to work out the payment of the non-suspended portion of the fine, which is $40 plus surcharges and court costs. They're going to give you a referral to the class. It's important that you complete the class by the deadline my clerk gives you, okay? It'll have a deadline on it. Contact those people right away, because that class, Alive at 25, it fills up fast. So that you've got to do it either this week or the beginning of next week. Get signed up for the class, get the class done. When you finish the class, they'll give you a certificate of completion. It's your responsibility to submit that certificate of completion to my court on or before the deadline my clerks give you. Give your dad a copy of that certificate of completion. You should submit that to your insurance agent. This is going to be considered an at-fault accident on her part, and because of her age, they're probably going to raise your rates to keep her covered. You never know, they might give you a discount because she's done this driving class. So give your agent that proof that she's done the driving class. Hold on to an extra copy of it, just in case you need to show it to the people down at DMV when you turn 18 and change over your licenses, okay? So original for the court, copy for your father's insurance, copy for DMV just in case. And then take the lessons they teach you in the class, apply it to your daily driving. If you only remember one thing out of this entire experience, it's that when you get behind the wheel of a car, get to where you're going safely, okay? But if you do that, you won't see judges, you won't get into accidents as much. Do you have any questions about what's expected of you? Do you have any questions about what's expected of your daughter? All right. If you have no questions, go ahead and go to the windows to see my clerks. Thank you. It's easy to get into a 4-car collision on I-270 and have nobody injured.
He's actually.
Yeah, well, she's gonna have to clean there anyway, since we used all 3, and I'll do this one anyway. See how that works out? Still. Esteban, Damien, if you would unmute your device, please.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Do you have a parent there with you?
Yeah, she's right next to me.
Okay, and are you Magdalena Juarez?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Juarez, just so that we make a complete record, as far as I know, you and I are not related in any way. Is that correct?
No, correct.
Thank you. All right. Damien, I have a document that alleges that on January 19th of 2022 at 12:43 in the morning in the area of 12005 East 119th Avenue here in Commerce City, that you committed the offense of juvenile loitering. In other words, you violated our juvenile curfew law. Do you understand what it is you're accused of doing?
Yes, sir.
All right, the city attorney said that he explained the elements of the charge with you. In other words, he explained to you what our juvenile curfew law is. Did he go over those elements with you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you watch the advisement of rights video?
Yes, sir.
Give me a minute. I have to put down that your mother and I are not related. All
It's
right,
okay.
here we go. All right, the city attorney says that you and he have worked out an agreement that we're going to set this for a new court date. Between now and the next court date, if you complete 8 hours of community service, making better choices class, and commit no new law violations, when you come back to court, if everything is in order, I can dismiss this case. Is this how you wish to resolve your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me speak to your mother. Do you understand the original charge that was filed against your son?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what the city attorney is offering your son in an effort to resolve this case?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree that your son is acting in his best interest by accepting this resolution and agreeing to do the community service in the class in exchange for dismissal?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let me go back to Esteban. All right, Esteban, when you leave this meeting, my clerks are going to send you an email. They're going to give you the new court date. It's going to be out in about 6 weeks. That way you have plenty of time to get everything done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, one of the things they're going to give you is a referral to the people that put on the class. It's important that you contact them as soon as possible, get signed up for it, and complete the class. When you finish the class, they'll give you a certificate of completion. It's your responsibility to make sure that certificate gets submitted to the court on or before the next court date. My clerks are also going to give you a community service form. You can do the community service anywhere. It does not have to be done in Commerce City. Find someplace that's convenient to you. To make it less like punishment, find someplace that's interesting to you, someplace you want to volunteer at. The only requirement that I make about the community service is that you must do it at a legitimate nonprofit agency. Church, schools, animal shelters, food banks, Goodwill, Salvation Army, Meals on Wheels, recreation centers. I don't care where you do it. Just make sure the place you pick is a legitimate nonprofit. Have them fill out the form, get that submitted on or before the next court date, and then don't pick up any new cases. If everything's in order on our next hearing date, I'll dismiss the case. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Ms. Juarez, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so my clerks will get all this to you by email either later today or tomorrow. You are free to leave the meeting. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You
sir.
too.
Mhm. All right, Aliana Regla, if you would come to station number 1 along with your parent. This is EM 14015. Good afternoon. All right, I have a document that alleges that on January 24th of 2022, at about 7:15 in the evening, in there, that's interesting. That can't be right. Mr. Garland? Is he on a Zoom meeting? Do you know? Chris?
He is not. I'll go ahead and join his breakout room and let him know that you need him.
Can you check with Alma to see if he's up there?
He does not appear to be in his office.
Oh, no, he's not.
If you see him in the next few minutes or seconds, could you send him to the courtroom, please? Thank you. Right.
There's a mistake on the ticket, and the city attorney should take the opportunity to right now to correct it while you're here.
I know when initially the officer wrote the ticket, he had made a mistake and he had called me actually to meet him the next day to rewrite another ticket. And he was kind of concerned that perhaps they didn't, you know, it was going to be confused.
Do you know, did she end up with 2 tickets then?
He tried to he said he canceled the first one. He actually had me text him the picture of the first one. And he said he was going to cancel that one out, and he was concerned that it wouldn't happen, but I still have his contact information if it needed to be.
No, that's okay. I actually have contact information for all of the police, but I don't see another ticket. Let me do a name search. Let me see if I can find it that way. Oh, that's funny. It doesn't even come up with this one. No, that's strange. Doesn't
Judge, what's the citation number in question?
But the one that I'm working on is 14015. I just tried to do a name search. It might be because she's a juvenile, but not even this ticket came up in her name.
I'm looking and I only see 14015 under her.
Okay, can you see if there's any other tickets that were submitted later for her?
I will go ahead and take a look in Brazos and see.
Okay.
Just a moment.
China, do you see Mr. Golan out in the lobby or anything? Yeah, I saw him go, he must be doing something on that side of his office. No, you just stay there. Yeah, Krista says she is not finding anything else for her. I just want to make sure that we don't go forward with this one if it's already been fixed with a new case.
Yeah, a search for her last name in Brazos only brings forth this ticket.
All right, and I'm assuming you were with Esteban Damian? Yeah, that's how come I recognize the address and the date of violation. And that it was Officer Civits. It's just a basic mistake, but it's technically a legal mistake.
Yeah, you were saying something about it didn't send to the cloud or something on the original one. And then that's why I made it the next day. And it should be another one.
I'm not, this one's shown as served on January 24th, which is the same date as the violation, so I don't have an answer for it. But again, you're here, he's here, there you are. You're gonna need to come up and look over my shoulder. All right, date and time of violation for that offense. You can see why that's a problem, right? Okay, now, she was with Mr.
1243.
Right. So do you want to move to amend?
Is it 1243?
Yep.
I'm just fixing the time.
Hang on.
One time I didn't look at her ticket because I already knew what happened.
Yeah, yeah. Again, you're here, they're here. I don't want to have to make them come back. All right, so now I can close this one, I think. Yep. All right, as I was about to do, the violation is charged as juvenile loitering. That's the Commerce City curfew law. And it alleges that on January 24th of 2022, originally the citation was written at 7:19, which would not be a violation of our curfew law. The correct time is 12:43 in the morning. That is now the amended time reflected on the violation. It's alleged that you violated this curfew law. Aliana, do you understand what it is you're accused of doing? All right, the city attorney said he reviewed the elements of that charge with you. In other words, he explained what he would have to prove for you to be found guilty of this. Did he go over that with you? He also says that you and he have worked out an agreement that we're going to set this for a new court date. Between now and that new court date, if you complete 8 hours of community service, I'm not sure what education happening is. What is that?
So Ms. Aliana, we had to recently pull her out of school. She's had some behavioral issues going on, and me and her mother are actually looking for a long-term treatment facility to facilitate some issues that we have going on right now.
Looking at where you live, you're in the 27J school district, right? Yeah, they have a duty to provide you with educational alternatives. Have you contacted do that? Yeah, contact them. Because again, your property taxes pay for her to attend school of some type, and the 27J school district has a duty to provide educational alternatives to you. So contact them. They should be able to give you some resources to look into for an education plan, okay? What grade was she in? What grade was she in?
She's in ninth grade.
Ninth grade, yeah. So, and at her age, it's mandatory. So something has to happen. All right, so I'm assuming he means that you need to have her enrolled in some type of education plan. And she's to commit no new violations. And Aliana, if you get enrolled in an education program, complete 8 hours of community service, and commit no new law violations, when you come back to court, if everything is in order, I can dismiss this case. Is this how you wish to resolve your case? Did you watch the advisement of rights video? And Nick Regla, you're her father, right? You understand the original charge filed against your daughter? You understand what the city attorney is offering your daughter in an effort to resolve this case? Do you agree that your daughter is acting in her best interest by accepting this proposed resolution to her case? Thank you. All right, so when you go to the windows in the lobby to see my clerks, they're going to give you the notice of the new court date. It's going to be set out about 6 weeks. That gives you time to get everything done. The important thing to do, obviously, is enroll her in some type of a state-sanctioned education program. Again, contact 27J. It's their obligation to take care of that. Bring in proof that she's enrolled in some type of education plan. They'll give you the community service form. The community service can be done anywhere. Find some place that's convenient to you. Aliana, I'm going to recommend that you find something that interests you. If you like animals, go to the animal shelter, do it there. If you have little brothers and sisters, go to a Boys and Girls Club, do it there. Your church, food bank, Meals on Wheels, anywhere. Just make sure the place you pick is a legitimate nonprofit. Do the work, have them fill out the form, bring that back with you. And then the rest of this should be easy. It's stay out of trouble. Don't pick up any new cases. If everything's in order when you come back, I dismiss the case. Do you have any questions about what's expected of you? Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, if you go to the windows in the lobby, see my clerks, they'll take care of the details for you. Thank you. All right, these next two are really quick. Malcolm Campbell Gonzalez, come over here to station number 2, please. I show that you're 17, is that right? Okay, we're going to reset your case for a new court date. It's required that you bring parent or legal guardian with you to your next court appearance. That's not a suggestion, that's an order, okay? So if you go to the windows in the lobby, see my clerks, they'll give you the notice of a new court date, all right? Thank you. Ramiro Carrasco Lopez, if you and your mom would come forward here. This is EM 6184. Come to station number 3. Buenas tardes. Me avisan que no habla suficiente inglés para poder ayudar a tu hijo a resolver este caso sin la ayuda de una intérprete. ¿Es verdad? No tenemos una intérprete aquí hoy. La próxima cita que vamos a tener una intérprete va a ser el día 9 de marzo. Es un miércoles. ¿Puedes regresar en ese día? ¿Necesitas decir sí o no? Sí. Ok. ¿Qué te conviene mejor, en la mañana o en la tarde? Lo vamos a poner para las 1 de la tarde en ese día, ¿ok? Ok. Si van a la ventanilla que está en el paseo, mis ayudantes te van a dar una noticia sobre esta cita nueva, ¿ok? Y Ramiro, I'm assuming you understood everything I told your mom? Okay, good. Go to the window, see my clerks, they'll give you a reminder notice. I'm sorry? Put down that they're to provide proof of enrollment in an educational program. And then I need you to dial the phone. This one.
Yeah, this is just a report. Can I send over really quick so I can touch Mr. Kruger in, so I can touch Judge Warren? Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
I need to go get my calendar, so tell them to hold on.
Is Mr. Kruger available? I'm sorry? Mr. Kruger available? Yeah, no, like, no, actually, we're supposed to meet for our conference. Yes, this is from sitting in this report, Judge Warren. Thank you.
Josh Kruger here.
All right, Mr. Kruger, I have Judge Warren walking in and it's on the phone and attaching to the conference, okay? Thank you. Michelle, are you available? Yes.
You can both on speaker. You are there.
Mr. Kruger?
Okay. Court's on the record in case numbers CM 302-754, CM 302-752, CM 302-755. I have Ms. Goff present by telephone conference on behalf of the City of Commerce City. Mr. Kruger present on behalf of the defendants in all 3 of the enumerated cases. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, yeah, I guess I shouldn't do that because you never know who gets to go first. All right. So here's what's going on. Somehow, I'm a part-time judge. I have a private practice. I do criminal defense work. I have a trial that got reset to February 28th. It's a very complex criminal case. It's going to go the whole week. Today was supposed to be the trial status conference. I'm announcing ready. I'm assuming the prosecution is going to announce ready, but ours is a property crime case. There are crimes of violence that take priority. The judge unilaterally continued the pretrial status conference from today to next Tuesday, the 22nd at 8:30 in the morning. I am unable to secure a substitute judge for February 28th when these cases were scheduled to proceed to trial. I still don't know that my case is going to go to trial. I suspect it is because my client's sitting in the Douglas County Jail. On the other hand, it's such a complex case, the prosecution may not be able to put it together. We were supposed to find out today. We're not going to find out till February 22nd. I don't think 1 week's notice is fair to either one of you. I'm more inclined to continue the case. Mr. Kruger, I'll hear from you first. Tell me what your preference is. Wait until next Tuesday to find out or try to get a new date today?
Jeff, I'll start with the short and simple answer. Get a new date today is probably our preference. I had already been discussing with Ms. Goff, prosecution here, about a continuance to enable, there's, interesting timing. We were trading emails this morning when your court supervisor's email came in. The city is looking like they need more time to do a review of this file, which is a pretty new file, and get the defense our requested discovery and witness information. So we had already been engaging in discussions about a recent or short continuance to enable that to happen. So in general, no opposition, but with a caveat that this thing needs to go, get resolved, and make sure that we deal with scheduling conflict so that all of my clients are present at this trial.
Okay. Ms. Goff, your position?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, just a little bit of background information. I did just recently enter an appearance on this case, and so just for full transparency to the court, I have, and Mr. Kruger is correct, we have been exchanging emails. Given the nature of this case and the discovery requested, I had begun discussions about a possible continuance based on the fact that there is some discovery that I need to go through. I need to get acquainted with the case, which I just recently came on. And so my preference is also to find a date today rather than wait until next Tuesday, because I don't believe it's fair to Mr. Kruger to get all of his requested discovery without time to look into it. And I also have an obligation to provide adequate representation to the city at this point. So rather than try to rush this on the 28th, I think finding a new date today is the preferred course.
Thank you both. All right. In an effort to be fully transparent, normally your motions, Mr. Kruger, would have been routed to me, and for some reason they were not. Ms. Goff, to be fair to you, your entry of appearance wasn't routed to me either. I discovered what was going on once I started investigating the trial setting for the 28th and realized that Ms. Goff had entered and that Mr. Kruger had filed discovery requests. That's a shortcoming on our end. That has nothing to do with either one of you. You both did it the correct way, but for some reason they were not routed to me and they're supposed to be. So I saw that there was extensive discovery involved in this case, and I contacted the supervisor of neighborhood services to make sure that they were aware of the discovery request, and they assured me that they were now aware of those discovery requests. I didn't want to find out that they were outside the loop with regard to that requested discovery. So the good news is they are in the loop and working on that. So with that having been said, you have to give me a minute because the phone is connected, not at my workstation, but right next to my workstation in open court. So give me 1 second, I'll be right back. And you might still be able to hear me. I'm just moving my computer just a little bit.
And I can hear you fine, Judge.
Good. I'm going to raise my voice while I do a quick search. Oh, my clerk just moved the phone. That makes it even easier.
Same here, Judge. You're coming through fine.
Good. Keep forgetting. All right, it looks to me like the not guilty plea is entered on December 15th, which means speedy trial would run on March 15th. And again, at this point, Mr. Kruger, I'm not going to require a waiver of speedy trial, but the only date or dates that I have available to do this trial between now and the running of speedy trial, and still give you all a little bit of time to work on the discovery issues, would be either March 11th or March 14th. Mr. Kruger, your preference as to those dates, or are you willing to waive speedy trial for more time, if you will?
Let me look at the calendar real fast for March 11th.
That's a Friday.
Or 14th. Those dates work on my calendar. Obviously, I've not been able to clear everything with my clients. They've indicated some general availability towards the end of March, so I haven't specifically discussed these dates with them. That being said, if we can agree on a date within reason that's past March 15th or 16th, whenever a speedy trial runs, my clients are willing to make a limited waiver there.
Okay, well, with that in mind, then I could actually, here, let me do it this way. Let me tell you the dates that we have available for the trials. And then Ms. Goff, if you have a preference, we will turn to you. So I could do the 11th, the 14th, the 15th, which is the last day of speedy trial, because again, February only had 28 days. Or the 21st, which is after speedy trial of March, or the 25th, which is after speedy trial. But again, I know Mr. Kruger wants to get these things wrapped up. I don't want to go beyond that if possible. So 11th, 14th, 15th within speedy, 21st or 25th after speedy. And I won't ask you to waive. I'll just note, Mr. Kruger, that if we do the 21st or the 25th, I will toll speedy trial to those dates. Okay?
Okay.
Ms. Goff, your preference?
So I am, unfortunately, I cannot do March 25th. I am training a city council.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Yes. March 11th. What happened? Sorry, somehow I got back in February. Oh, I'm sorry. You said
March 11th, March 14th, March 15th, March 21st, and you've eliminated the 25th.
I apologize. I was looking at February. March 25th is fine. That's my fault. March 21st, I cannot. But the 11th, the 14th, let me ask you, what time would you want attorneys there for the trial? 8 or 8:30 or 9?
It would be 8:30 or 9. I mean, this is going to be the only thing I set for those
Okay.
whatever day we pick.
I just have on the 14th, I have a brief setting conference at 8:30 that I don't anticipate to go very long. So
Is it by WebEx or by Zoom?
it's by phone. So I
Oh.
mean, I could literally be there in Commerce City, complete that, and then be ready to go. So the 11th, 14th, or 25th work.
Okay, I'm inclined for the 14th. How about you, Mr. Kruger?
My calendar looks clear on the 14th.
All right, why don't we just agree to do it then on March 14th? That's within speedy trial, and we'll just start it at 9 o'clock. Obviously, Ms. Goff, you could be here early so you could do your phone conference without having to rush from place to place.
That would be great.
All right, then with the consent of the parties, this matter is rescheduled for trials to the court on all three cases. CM 302-754, CM 302-752, 302-755 to Monday, March 14th at 9 o'clock a.m. The current trial date of February 28th is hereby vacated. Is there anything else I need to address for you, Mr. Kruger?
Should we be expecting revised trial notices for that?
Yes, we will email revised trial notices for that.
Okay, terrific. That's it from our end, and I'll double check with I'll notify clients immediately and get back in touch if there are any really hard conflicts with March 14th.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Ms. Goff, anything else from your end?
I don't believe so. I appreciate both the court's time and Mr. Kruger's time in getting this discussion happening today. Just coming in late on this case, I truly appreciate everybody's willingness to work with me here.
Me too, to be quite candid. I just still can't wait to find out what's going to happen on the week of February 28th. You know,
Yeah, well, good luck.
yeah, you know, the judge's clerk notified me last Friday that our hearing for this morning was vacated, and she and the clerk were both going to be gone this entire week. So no chance to object, no other option. I was just told pretrial is now, you know, February 22nd at 8:30. And I'm like, okay, must be fun to be a judge, right? All right. Well, thank you both for your cooperation. We'll see you then on March 14th at 9 o'clock.
Your Honor, I do have one final parting point.
Sure.
Just that any waiver of speedy trial was limited to if we needed to go past the 15th or the 16th for scheduling purposes.
Correct.
Now we're still within speedy trial, no waiver from my clients on speedy trial. I just want to make that clear.
That's correct.
Okay, terrific.
Thank you.
All right.
All right,
Thanks, Judge.
All right.
Thanks, Ruthie.
Oops, I just hung up on it. Okay, no biggie.
Think how much fun you're gonna have with two professional attorneys. It'll be a change for you.
All right, Judge, that's everyone from the afternoon that's registered. Do you want me to close the meeting?
Yes.
Perfect. All righty, well, then I'll see y'all next week. Actually,
Okay.
no, I won't.
You won't.
Aren't you guys out?
Well, court's canceled. If my trial gets done, I'll be here anyway.
Oh, okay.
But Michelle's going to be here the afternoon of the 24th.
Correct. Isn't Brian going to be the attorney for that day, the prosecuting attorney?
No, Adam's going to be here that afternoon. The afternoon of the 24th. And
Okay.
I should be back by then, but I'm going to let Michelle do the docket while I do all my paperwork.
Okay. Well, sounds good. Then I'll see y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Court's off the record and in recess.